Hello and welcome back to another wonderful video. Today I have for you all another Ponytown Mystery. Now, the whole 37Z mystery and everything like that doesn't seem to be related to this whatsoever, so I want to say that right off the bat. As well, there's not been much development with the regular 37Z NPC thing. Last we heard with them, there was the whole, like, oh, we figured out Pumpulse was a unicorn this whole time. Fuma actually stole Pumpulse's magic and then ran off to fight the tower, the Yindu Tower, the famous, infamous, whatever you want to call it, tower. So that's the last we heard of that mystery and that whole thing. Literally nothing's happened since then. Not sure what's going on with that, but this mystery here is a whole brand new mystery, and I'm kind of excited for it. I'm kind of interested, and I'm kind of interested to, you know, see what becomes of this mystery. So without further ado, let me go ahead and start from the beginning. So one of my friends on Discord messaged me, or just the whole server as a whole pretty much, and said, hey, there's this character here who just randomly whispered to me, which matters more, beauty or strength? They weren't sure how to respond, so they ended up deciding to respond with strength. They didn't get much of a reply. I'm pretty sure they just went, and then that was it. They were gone, they poofed away, and that was that. That was that encounter, and I thought, oh, that was pretty interesting, pretty strange, and I thought, oh, maybe, you know, possibly they were just like, you know, maybe that's the whole thing. Maybe they were trying to get, you know, like a second opinion on some kind of debate that they were in or something like that. Maybe someone said that beauty matters more than strength, or maybe someone said strength matters more than beauty, and they were like, no, you're wrong, I'm gonna go ask some other people, some randoms and stuff like that to prove you wrong. That's what I thought was going on. That's what I thought was going on, so I left it at that. But then another encounter happened. This time the player was asked, would you rather be seen as trustworthy or honest? The player responded with trustworthy, and again the strange character here responded with and then disappeared and was gone. So I theorized that you're either going to have to say honest or both, or something like that. So I wasn't sure like what you were supposed to respond with. We got another encounter soon after. Another player was whispered the same question, and they responded with honest. So the strange question mark character here, it's literally just called the question mark, so I don't really have a name for it, so we're just gonna call it the entity for now, and later on you'll see why. But they responded with interesting, hurting others for the truth, and that was the rest of that encounter. It ended up poofing away or something like that, and nothing really more happened, and nothing really came up after that. It was a little bit, you know, gone. We just kind of shrugged it off as like, oh, maybe again, it's just probably something here now, but we don't have enough information really to do anything with. We can't really figure anything out based on this. It almost, to me, felt at that point in time, it almost felt like they were trying to sort us into a house or a faction or something like that. That I don't think is the case, but who knows, it could be, and if it is, that'd be pretty interesting. But then after that encounter, nothing really happened for a while, but then this new character showed up. It was called Q ? And it's literally the same exact entity, but it has a blue eye instead of a red eye, so it's very clearly part of the same thing. If not, this is a pretty crazy game jack here, especially since there's been interactions with both these characters. They ended up whispering to another player a string of like dots and dashes and stuff like that, and I immediately recognized it as Morse code, so I was like, oh, let's plug this into some Morse code stuff, and we couldn't, like, all the Morse code translators we used, we couldn't get it to translate literally anything, which we thought was very weird. So we ended up finding a sheet to translate it manually, and we translated it manually, and this is what came up with the translation. Question: have to go, they are watching. That was the whole thing. And then after a little bit of that, nothing really happened. No real interaction with that other than that string of Morse code. And then that character ended up poofing away. So I'm not sure who is watching this entity, this other entity, this Q. I don't know who's watching Q. I imagine the entity, the original one, the red one, is watching the blue one here. I imagine that's what's going on, especially since we ended up having interactions with both of them and everything. So moving on to the next encounter. red-eyed entity looking for the blue-eyed entity and everything like that. It said things like, I'm looking for someone or something like that, and like, oh, they're missing, I need to find them, stuff like that. And we kept asking them, oh, are you talking about the blue one, the one that talks in Morse code and stuff like that? And I'm not sure if they responded to that or not. It doesn't seem like they did. But they were looking for that entity. A couple of friends ended up following the blue-eyed entity, so that they could kind of see what's going on with it. And then a couple other people followed the red-eyed entity and everything. So we kind of got a good idea of like what they were doing and stuff. And they were mostly just looking around. The blue-eyed entity was very nervous and very scared. They said things like, how do they always know? I need to find a new code. How did they find out? Things like that. Not sure what that means. I can only assume that the red-eyed entity found out something about this blue-eyed entity, and it was looking for them, and it knew that they were being looked for and everything else, and like, oh, you know, they found me. How did they find me? That sort of thing. But I'm pretty sure they were most likely talking about the red-eyed entity. They ended up asking like what form they should take, and then they just ended up taking a form without anyone answering them, which ended up being this strange statue thing with blue in it and everything. It's kind of interesting. And then the red-eyed entity showed up not too long after, saying that they could sense that the blue-eyed entity was there. They said something like, I can sense that she's here. She can't get away for too long, and she's here somewhere. I need something that I can use to draw her out. And they go, what is something she likes? Oh, I know, mangoes. So apparently the blue-eyed entity likes mangoes. The red-eyed entity left to go get some mangoes and came back, and then the blue-eyed entity showed herself. That's how they found each other. They kind of was like, oh, heck, there you are. I found you. And they said something to each other. And then they both poofed away for a few minutes. Then they came back. When they came back, the red-eyed entity was actually injured and stuff like that, which was pretty interesting. Basically insinuating that those two characters had a fight and everything like that. We just couldn't see it because they just poofed away, and maybe it was too fast for our eyes to see. Who knows? But they poofed away, came back. The red-eyed entity was injured and everything like that. The red-eyed entity said that, oh my god, she really packs a punch or something like that. Talking about, how strong the blue-eyed entity was and everything like that. And it ended up leaving, and then the blue-eyed entity came back later, and it was just acting a little bit weird. I think it was laughing a bunch and stuff like that. And that was that whole encounter. Nothing else really came out of that, but it definitely showed us that, these two characters are definitely part of the same story, whatever it is. They're definitely part of some kind of thing that's going on. They're probably at odds, but they're probably not at the same time. The way that the red-eyed entity talked, it almost felt like they were connected sort of differently, more than oh, they're like, I know you or whatever. It kind of seemed more connected. It almost felt like the characters were almost like one and the same, but split. So one of my theories for this is that both of these entities are actually one and the same, and something's happened to split their soul in half, and that split soul has created two different entities, and that is why they kind of can sense each other and they know so much about each other and stuff. That's what I'm thinking. That's just an offhand theory there, just my immediate thoughts on the whole thing going on there. I don't know why, but that just feels like it works. Fast forward a week, maybe, I think it was, and we got another encounter with this strange question mark entity. It was asking for its book. It didn't know where its book was. It said, where is my book? And it was whispering to different players, have you seen my book? A handful of people said, were honest and was like, oh, sorry, I haven't seen it. I myself had the question, and I said something along the lines of, nah, fam, I'm sorry, where was the last place you left it? Or where was the last place you saw it? I whispered that. I didn't get a response to that, but someone did respond with, what does the book look like? And the entity responded with, it's magenta with a golden moon with a star on it, which is a pretty interesting book. Almost sounds familiar in a way. With that, that was their answer. They answered what the book looked like, and then they actually ended up friending that player, which is pretty interesting. So if you see this entity, then ask them what does the book look like, and maybe you'll get a friend request from them or something. Who knows? Not much else happened. Literally nothing else happened. We just had a couple of more people asked the book question, and some of them were saying things like, what does it look like? And then they would get the answer, of course, of it's a magenta magenta book with a golden moon on it with a star next to it. Some players pretended to see it, pretended to had find it. This player said, I think I have seen it, and it asked where it was, and this player said, I saw it in the forest, said, I hope you find it. They left, nothing else came out of that encounter, so I guess lying isn't going to help you in here. Other players said, no, I haven't, sorry, and they were just saying, oh, I see, sorry. So yeah, that's pretty much it. There's literally not been an encounter since then. It's actually been a week now. It's actually been like a full week now. It's literally been exactly 1 week since that last encounter, which is pretty interesting. But nothing's come up with this. So if you see this strange entity here, or if you see the same entity but with a blue eye instead, and it has a Q between 2 question marks, then those are the main characters here. I don't know if there's any other characters involved right now. There could be, but for now, these are the only 2 confirmed characters I have for this that I know of. So if you see either of them, don't necessarily approach them and like mess with them or anything like that, but just keep them in mind, and maybe you'll get a whisper from them. And if you do, then try and whisper wisely, because there's clearly only one answer, and they are prepared to move the story along whenever you answer correctly. So yeah, this is everything we have, everything we know, and all my theories. My main theory being that this is some kind of singular entity that was split in half somehow and is trying to sort of fuse back with its other half, and its other half seems to not want that or something. Whatever the case, the blue-eyed entity doesn't seem to like the red-eyed entity for whatever reason. It could be any number of reasons for all we know, but there's definitely something there, and it's pretty interesting. So yeah, I think that's going to do it for the video. If you see anything about this, please do comment below, your encounter with this or whatever like that. If you're in my Discord server, please share it in the journalism tab or the journalism channel and stuff. And yeah, that's gonna do it for the video. I do hope that you enjoyed. I make content like this all the time. I make Ponytown content all the time. I love to do the mystery stuff in Ponytown as well. Those are very unique and interesting and stuff, and they're pretty fun. I do wish list videos, just regular goofing off videos, informative videos. I make a video every time there's an update. So if you like Ponytown and everything like that, please do subscribe, and I do hope that you enjoyed this video overall, because if you did, I would really appreciate it if you liked, subscribed, and shared, and did all of those wonderful things. Not because I want it, but because you get to become wonderful yourself, and I think we all want that. So do those wonderful things, and until next time, stay wonderful.